What's the difference between data recovery and data backup? They are both really important when it comes to your main data not being accessible. But what's the main difference and why is it so important that you understand it when trying to protect your business's data? So firstly, if we look at what a data backup is, so this is having your data in another place. So you may have an on-premise server that's got all of your files and folders in it. You need to have a backup of that data in case it's stolen, for example. Stolen online, or whether physically someone breaks into the building and takes the actual main server. So you need to be able to have a copy of that data. But with backups, there's lots of different types of backups depending on what the data is. So if it's emails, then that may be just having the individual data, as opposed to if it's a complete machine, then you'll need to have a backup of not only the data, but the configuration as well. Now, recovery is more about having the data itself, but then being able to use it. An example could be that if you've had a hardware failure, you may need to do a full recovery on that data just so that you're then able to use it and access it. Whereas an entire backup, pretty easy, it's from one place to another, and then you just want multiple types of backup. An example could be you may have a backup that's on premise, that's sat there, and also a separate cloud backup that's being held somewhere else. But it's so important that you've got different backups that cover different types of disasters. So one may be hardware failure, another one could be that you get a cyber attack and all of your data is encrypted. And this is where having a separated backup is so important. If you've got a backup device that's connected to the main device, if you get an encryption virus, some type of ransomware, then it will encrypt both the main data and the backed up data. So you need to make sure there's that third element where it's separated. So there's what's called an air gap, so that that can all be encrypted, but then you've still got a fail-safe backup. And this is why we always recommend having 3 types of data store. Main data that you use every day, a dominant backup, and then a third backup, which is usually just cloud files and folders. The final element that we would say is that you need to make sure you know what time frames these are from a disaster recovery perspective. So if you were to have a break-in and your main server was to be stolen, then how long would it take to get back up and running? Or if you were just to delete the wrong type of data, for example, one of your colleagues deletes a file that they didn't mean to, how long does it take to just roll that individual file back? And these are all things that should be in your disaster recovery plan. So if you're unsure of what data you need to back up, or just what needs to go into a disaster recovery plan, then Syn-Star can help. So if you're unsure what data needs to be backed up, or what the time frame should be in a good disaster recovery plan, then we're here to help. So if you click on the link, you can download our free disaster recovery plan.